Welcome to Hack Shack Studios. Hey all, it is Monday, early Monday. It's 10:20 here in Texas. So yeah, this is the new Hack Shack Studios Texas version. So as you can see, we're still packing, well, not packing, unpacking stuff and putting things away. So I don't think it's ever going to end. It's going to continue. We have a lot of stuff, a lot of books. I don't know. Let me see if I can show you. Just look at all the books. That's just some of them. Let me see. There you go. So that's just some of the books. I have two rooms off to the side that are filled with books that I have not unpacked yet. So yeah, it's ongoing here. It is ongoing, but we're having fun. We're having fun. Yesterday, actually, they here in the Woodlands, Texas, they have these pathways, and they lead to all the different communities and shopping areas and stores and restaurants and everything. And so there's a lake around the block here, and Pamela and I walked not only to the lake but beyond. So we walked about a mile, and it felt really good at the time, but we got really tired later in the day. But it was nice. What carpet equals fleas in Texas? Ay ay ay. We don't even have an animal. How do we get fleas? Yeah, we've noticed they have like mud daubers and roaches in Texas. So I guess it's because of moisture. I don't know. I don't know. It's a different climate, but we're looking forward to all the new and unique problems. I guess because I have a lifetime of California, so you get kind of I guess bored with your problems. So you want to go someplace else and get a bunch of new problems. And they seem fresh and unique, and you're looking forward to conquering them. So yeah, there's a lot of differences here. Like it's been kind of raining the last couple days, but we enjoy it because California is rather dry. So yeah, I'm going through as I'm unpacking. I have the T-Bear vault, which is a mess, and I'm probably going to take a picture at some point and show you the mess because there's just stuff everywhere. But it's really cool stuff. I mean, it's a collection of 30, almost 40 years of a career that I have just strewn about. And so one of those things that I found the other day is Cable One. I found Xerox's artwork, notes, faxes from Fabian Nicieza and Marvel. I found all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to share those with you guys and talk about my run on that book. I saw some stuff that said 92. I think the book came out in 94. But some of the notes and some of my drawings say 92. So I don't know when the book came out. I thought it was 94, but maybe I was wrong. Maybe it came out earlier. It probably did, actually. Let me see what you guys are saying. Welcome everybody to the chat. And actually about cable and comics or whatever, feel free to ask any questions in the chat because I really like that. And I like to interact with you guys. So, we always do a little bit of a Q&A in here. So we got Past Master Dan. Hey, we got Darren Wagoner. What's up, my friend? Mighty Joe. Mighty Joe, how are you? We already got carpet equal fleas in Texas. Lord Crackhead 33 says, hail art and chat. Darren says, I have fleas in my hair. That's not good. They find you. I don't know, man. I mean, is that true? My hair is flea in my head. It sounds like you got, not only do you have flea problems, but you have some hair problems too. That's horrible. That is horrible. Dead Drop says, good day, everyone. Yes, good day. Good day, sir. I'm the dirty kid in Charlie Brown. What was his name? Pigpin. They actually called him Pigpin. Don't you think that's a little nail on the head there? Calling the poor kid Pigpin. He did have like a cloud of dirt around him. I did live in an apartment that was pretty filthy. It was like the Munsters house. So you know when what's his name? Herman has a fit and he stomps his feet and there's all that dust that flies up. It was like that. So I think if I could deal with that, I could deal with some fleas in the carpet. I don't know. We don't have fleas. I'm just saying if we did. Yeah, but the reason it was like that is because my roommate was a sculptor, and so the whole front of the apartment was studio space, and so he worked with plaster and different mediums, and so it was always dirty because of that. Yeah. So, I mean, it was probably dirty too because we never cleaned anything, but most of it was because of his plaster dusts. I wonder what that does to your lungs. Man, Darren is really going to town. I hate baths. Baths are pleasurable. So are showers, man. All right. The text T Bear treasure trove. I had to slow down for that one. That's a little bit of a tongue twister for me. Catwoman is back. Yes, her mask is there. Yeah, I think I have temporarily. I have. Oh, you can't see it. Damn it. There's a Batman cowl over here. Let me see if I can move this lamp. Let me see. Move it. Yeah, there's Batman right there. So it's slowly coming together. The studio. It's quite a. This room is a lot bigger than the old studio in California. So I'm happy about that. More space. I can move out. I can move out. I can stretch my arms. Let's see. I'd much rather use that time to nap. Wow. Sleeping a lot, Darren, and not taking showers. I don't know. I'm trying not to judge here. Roland says, I thought you did like the first 5 issues. Yes, I did. And so I don't have those other, I just have the first issue. So I have some working drawings, I have sketches, some design work, I have actual pencils of the pages. Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to show off. Wow, I got 99 problems. Exactly 99. You should round them up to 100. Let's see what Spiritscar always giving me crap in the chat. Can you please give your background some flair? I could, but I probably won't. Okay. Let me catch up in the chat, and then I will start. I will get into this. I found some other stuff as well. My wife brought this up. I did some stuff for Andy Dick some years back. He had an MTV show. I think it was called The Dick Show, or maybe it's called Andy Dick Show. And so an art director, well, actually a friend of mine was doing makeup on Andy Dick for one of the episodes, and the art director needed somebody that could draw comic books. So my friend, who's a makeup guy, told them or asked them to get a hold of me, and they did. And so what I did is I drew a page, an X-Men page that matched one of the X-Men comics that I had done. And so I drew it in the same style, but I drew Andy Dick in the page. And so he was like, the skit was, he's an actor, and he goes to conventions and sells photographs of himself. And his X-Men character was a very obscure character. His name was Loebzy, the Loeb Man. And so his mutant abilities was he had really long earlobes. And so I got to create the character on a very low budget. I mean, they pretty much set the parameters of what the costume could look like. So I did some drawings up, and then he did the skit, and I put the comic book together. So I did the artwork, the original artwork, and then I had it printed in a comic book and bound into an X-Men comic book. So when you actually open it, it just looks like another page in the book. And so he showed that off on the show. And then there were these signs around. It said Loebzy is real people. So I guess he was trying to convince people that he was a real X-Men. And so nobody believed him. And so then the drawing that I did in the book, and he's really, really small, like it's an X-Men splash, and he's really tiny in it. And so he's in the shadows and stuff like that, but he's convinced that that's his character. And so he's trying to get, he's trying to get some attention based on, that little comic book appearance. And I think he also says in the skit that he was in the movie, the first X-Men movie, but you could barely see him and he's in the background, that kind of thing. And so there was a whole skit. And there's a comic convention. I think it's the first weekend of every month in California. It's called Frankensons. It's kind of big. And so they agreed to let him film at an actual convention. So he does a lot of improv and things like that. Andy Dick does. And so he did the skit while the show was going on. So people were walking in front of him, and there were actors that were in some of the booths that would interact with him. So it was equal actor and like just average people just walking past. So he would interact and stuff like that. It was pretty fun. And so there was these signs that he has up, and it's like Loebzy's real people. And so he'd hold it up and he'd go into the crowd and he'd show it off. And those signs, I did all the drawing. It's so funny how people are. Like there was an art director on the show. They hired an art director, and apparently Andy Dick didn't like his signs. And so then Andy asked me, he's like, could you draw some signs up? And I was like, sure. And so right when they were like just about ready to do the, film everything, I'm over in the, in the corner, like I'm on the set. I'm like, there's a little card table and stuff, and I'm sitting in his chair and everything. And I'm drawing up these signs really fast. And then they start putting them up. And then somebody came back with like a Xerox of the actual page, and they posted it on the wall and everything. And the cool thing is, I mean, if you pay attention, you can see it, but there's some cable issue 1s around the area, and there's some black and white comics in the shot too. So there's another booth, and there's a guy selling comics. And so the camera goes over to him, and that's where you see a lot of like my books and stuff like that in the shot. So it was pretty fun. And so as it was going, it's just like a lot of just improvisation stuff. And so as it was happening, the cameraman and I guess the director, they started pushing me into the shot. Like I was just standing there. And then the director goes, "You want to be in the show?" Like it whispered it, because it was all happening at the time. And I was like, sure. And so then they just pushed me in front of Andy Dick. And then the cameraman had like one of those handheld. So to get me in the shot, he was actually kind of positioning me on the back, with my back and stuff like that. And he's kind of moving me into the shot so he could get me in the shot. And so there's a scene with me interacting with Andy Dick in the show as well. So it was a lot of fun. It was crazy beyond a belief, because I mean, you talk about pressure. It was like sink or swim. It was just got thrown into the deep end, but it was a lot of fun. And then after the skit, Andy had to go back to, they had these trailers in the parking lot. And so I guess dressing room or whatever. So we got to go back there and hang out while he was getting his makeup taken off and going. I guess he had another skit at the same location. And so I got to hang out with him for about a half hour or so. And I got to meet his son. His son's all grown up now. And his son was really cool. And the son seemed like a little left out. And so I had drawn some images of Andy Dick as the character and stuff like that on like Marvel board, and I gave that original artwork to him. And I did a sketchbook too. There was like a storyboard book for, like, he was trying to get funding for his I think he called it his Aquafarius adventure, and an indie movie he was trying to get funded at the convention, so that was part of the character. So he had like storyboards for the movie, and so he also hired me to draw those up. So I just took a really cheap looking like notepad, and I just drew a bunch of like notes and ideas. I filled up the whole thing, and some of it I did with crayon. It looked really psychotic and crazy. And when I showed Andy Dick that, he was like, "This is awesome." He goes, "This is really killer." And then he asked, he goes, "Can I have this?" And so I was like, "Sure, you can have it." you know. So I guess he kept it as a souvenir along with the piece of artwork. But his son looked very left out. So I talked to his son for a while, and I got their address, like a mailing address. And so I sent his son like just a care package of comic books and stuff like that, just because he was the right age, for the comics and stuff like that. So, I thought I would, kind of spread some good cheer there, good vibes. So it was cool. Yeah. So that was my Aquafarius adventure. Yeah, and I think you can find it on YouTube. Andy Dick, and I think it's just called Loebzy or Loebzy or something like that. I can't remember because there was a copyright infringement, because apparently somebody that did comics already had the copyright to either Loebzy or Loebzy. I think it might have been Loebzy. And so they had to change it last minute. So a lot of the artwork and stuff like that, when I wrote the name, it was like Loebzy or Loebzy. And so then I think it became Loebzy. It was like Loebzy the Loeb Man. So he just go like, "I'm Loebzy the Loeb Man." He had these big ears. That's what my friend did, the makeup. My friend Mike Smithson, he did the earlobes. So he was like slapping them around, hitting people with them. It was absolutely insane. It was probably the most adrenaline-driven art job I'd ever done, but it was a lot of fun. Only art can judge me. Yeah, because you don't shower and you sleep all the time. Okay, Eric says, "Nice. I just finished my workout and run and come to see that the Wild Bear Man is streaming." Yes, yes, the Wild Bear Man. You'd think I was wild. If I pulled this hat off, you'd see some crazy hair. My buddy Zach Bradley. Yeah, the studio is slowly coming together. I don't have anything on the wall right now. I have a big bookshelf in front of me, and I need to take a level to it, and I need to put some screws in it to support it. There's all kinds of like just little things to do when you're moving into a new place. Did I wash my hands after? This was pre-COVID, so I didn't mind having some dick stank on my hands. Cool story, bro. And it's all true. I have the photograph to prove it. And I found this too. A friend of mine he runs Power, like a show Power, I think they call it, for like big acts, like big concerts and stuff. And this is ancient, to art, all the best. That says Ronnie James Dio on it. So I got an autographed postcard by Ronnie James Dio, Music Millennium. So I don't know what that was. Maybe that's his company, Music Millennium, since 1969. I don't know what this is. But yeah, my friend, I used to play in a band with him. His name is Roger. He got this. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so let's see. I think I'm caught up. Leroy says, "Art, can you tell us a story about what it was like to print your first comic with Oh, come on. Really? I'm not that old. Not a real movie star. Not like Art in the Spider-Man movie. You got that right. You got that damn right. I also did like it was actually more labor intensive than the Spider-Man stuff, but I got hired. The movie was called Heart's War, and I got to hand double for Colin Farrell, actually like back double as well. So I think it was with Bruce Willis and Colin Farrell. And so that same art director for the Andy Dick Show was art directing that movie. And so I guess, I mean, I used to have dark hair. I guess from the back three-quarter, I looked like Colin Farrell or enough. And so he knew I could draw. And so the character that Colin played, I guess it was a prison camp in I don't know what war. I don't remember. It was Hart's War. And so his character, Colin Farrell's character, was an artist. And so he would draw all the time. And so all the drawings in the movie they hired me to do. So there's like, I haven't found it yet. I know I said this on another live stream that if I found the artwork, I would show you guys. I don't have any of the originals, but I have Xeroxes. So I did all kinds of propaganda. I guess it was the Second World War because there were Hitler propaganda and all kinds of stuff. And then there was more realistic drawings of like the other actors in the movie. Like he was just drawing them as he was watching them in the camp and stuff like that. I did a stack of drawings like this. And so they did that. And then I guess they call them pickup shots. So they hired me to come in to do pickup shots. And so I guess, like when they cut away from the actor, like they show him like this and he's got the sketchbook and he's drawing, and then they flip the camera and then they show it over the shoulder, and then you get to see a hand drawing whatever it is. That was my hand. So I was like hired to draw this image. I forget what it was on camera. And so one of the things is I went to wardrobe, so they had to put me in the same, outfit as Colin Farrell. And I sat on the set. So there was like a bunk bed and there was a cat. So there was a cat wrangler. It was weird. Actually, it worked out pretty good. That guy was, because I thought with the cat, I was going to have to do this over and over again. And so I think I only did it in one take. And so the cat behaved itself. And so I drew the image, while the camera's on me. So I had like a prison outfit, uniform on or whatever the hell it was. And so I ended up spending the whole day there. I got there at like 7 a.m. And so they didn't get to my pickup shot till the end of the day. So I was on the set of, was it Sony? I don't remember what studio it was, but I got to goof around. So I went and hung out on the 70s show set. So I got to walk around the foreman's house and the driveway where the garage was. The cool thing is, I didn't know where I was in the soundstage. So I come through a door in the backstage area and I walked right into the garage. It was really cool because I didn't see it from the front. I got to experience it from the back. So it was pretty cool. And then there was a TV show called Titus, and they were filming that. And then the Ellen show, I think, was there, and I walked on the set there. And then there was Malcolm in the Middle. So I got to walk on, just hang out and just check out stuff. So it was fun. And then when I wasn't doing that, the art director made me keep practicing the drawing. So I guess when I got on camera, I remembered how to draw the picture. I drew that image probably 50 times because I would just like sit there while they were filming something else and I'd just be drawing. He's like, "Are you still drawing?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, we're going to get to you next." And then it wouldn't happen. And then he keeps saying, "We're going to get to you next." And it never happened. So I didn't get to meet Colin Farrell, but he was there on the set. And so that guy's a chain smoker, man. Him and his smoking buddies, And they were building stuff at the time, and then they had like fog, and then he's smoking. Man, the air in that soundstage was horrible, man. It was toxic. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was Hearts War, I believe it was. I never saw the movie. A friend of mine that worked at the studio here, Jaime Mendoza, years ago when it came out, he bought me the movie, so I think I have it somewhere. It's probably on tape, and but I still haven't seen it. But somebody told me that all the stuff that I did isn't in the movie, so they cut out all the drawing stuff. So that was a bummer. But I got paid. I got paid a lot of money. It was pretty cool. Let's see what Spiritscar says. Hey, Art. Know you like musicians with a sense of humor. What did you think of the Beastie Boys back in the day? Oh man, yeah, they had a right to party. I love that stuff, man. Yeah. I haven't seen the trailer, but everybody loves it. So Lord Crackhead says, Art, have you seen Godzilla versus King Kong trailer yet? And who do you think would win? I don't know, man. Godzilla has that atomic whatever blast, so it seems like King Kong wouldn't even be able to get close to him. Unless somehow they got rid of the Godzilla blast, or somehow made Kong immune to it. I'm sure they'll figure out some way, because if they fight for 2 hours, then they're going to have to figure out something. Let me see. Shadowhawk. Hill, Artie Bear, I'll have to rewatch. Just woke up. Night shift sucks. I used to work night shift at a supermarket. In some ways, I liked it, but as far as being social, I didn't. I liked working at the supermarket because I didn't have to work. I didn't have to deal with the average person, the customers. So I like that. Craig says, Mr. T. Bear, you drew one of my favorite flash covers, 230, during the Cavalieri run. Oh, cool. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. I love I can never say her name. Mila Kunis? No, I didn't see any of the actors. I saw the only two actors I saw, and they were just wreaking havoc they were just driving around on a golf cart. They were the two brothers. So I guess one of them is in the 70s show and one of them is in Malcolm in the Middle. So I think the character, the Malcolm in the Middle, is the oldest son, is brothers with the character Hyde from the 70s show. So those guys they had a golf cart and they were just driving all over the place. Arts War, yeah. Okay, man, you guys are on fire here. So, yeah, let's get into the Mastersons. Yeah, the brothers. Yeah, I guess one got into some trouble recently. He might even be in jail. I don't know what happened. It's not good, man. Nonetheless, looked like a fun movie. Yeah, I don't know. I think Godzilla would win, just personally, because I don't know. I mean, Kong could just basically just has hands. He could bite him and tear at him, but Godzilla can like whack him with his tail. He can burn him up with his breath, and I think it would be hard for. It seems like he's got fairly indestructible skin, and Godzilla is still kind of flesh and blood, even though he's just bigger. So I don't know how they're gonna get past that. So I know there was, like, in the past, wasn't there a Godzilla King Kong movie, like way back when? Hey, Matt Cisco, what's up? What about morning? Yes, good morning. So let's get into this. I'm hoping that I was really tempted to scan everything, but I thought that that would take way too long. So, you know, holding it up for the camera sometimes isn't the best way to do these things. So I'm not sure how much of this I should show because there's a lot. I have this paper clipped. So some of it's in form of 11 by 17s and some of it is they're smaller. So maybe I could show you these first. I got everything in a I used to just pack everything in a FedEx box. So so that was my high-tech storage units. It actually served its purpose though. So everything's in pretty good shape. So let me see here. Oh, there's a bunch of Xeroxes. I think I did promotional work for the book. So this was one of, I think this was an ad or promotion for the series. So this is the cast of characters. I think that's what this was for. I got a bunch of them. And they're pretty good Xeroxes, actually. I always made sure I had a good Xerox machine. So here's some quick. Well, it's too much light. The light bounces off the screen and onto the white paper. So if there's more stuff on the image, it doesn't bounce back as much. Look at that. Cable over here doesn't have the back of a head. He has a little ponytail. I think there was that Sean Connery movie, and I remember talking to Bob Harris. He was like, give him that kind of haircut or something. So I'm not sure if the ponytail stayed, but that was kind of a ponytail phase. This version, he's got the back of a head, so this is a little bit better. So, and let me see. It says 92 here, so maybe it was in 92. And so here is another drawing. I'm not sure if this was this is the suit. So this is probably the first time I drew this version of the suit. So these are quick little Sharpie drawings. This one says 1092 as well. So let me see what else. I think that's it for that. Here, this was used, I think that this was the Diamond catalog cover. So yeah, I think Marvel made a retail poster out of this as well. Actually, hold on for a minute. Let me I think I have it somewhere around here. So I'm gonna see if I can find it. It's here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. It's pretty good size too. Let me see, hit the camera again. So it's still in bubble wrap, but you can see it through the bubble wrap. So this was the retail poster. Marvel did a retail poster with that artwork. So you can kind of see it. So you can see things still are in various forms of unpacking. So let me see. Oh, here's I forget what these guys were called, but this is I think it's one of the bad guys, because I think it goes into the future, like into Cable's timeline. So maybe this is actually Cable, because there's a beard underneath the face shield. So maybe this is the future Cable, or from his timeline. So there's a little character, and so there was a robot character. So he had like this like open top of his head. So here's like some of the circuits and stuff. So that was an idea. Yeah, it's just a bunch of little miscellaneous. This was one of the like skiffs or ships, because I think the story starts when he's in his timeline, but I'm not sure. So there's like these hunter-killer ships and stuff like that. Hold on, I actually have some images that I found. Let me see. Screen share. Boop, but doop, boop. Let me see. Okay, so this is this should be, you should be seeing the cover to issue 1. So this is the cover for Cable 1. So there, like up in the upper left-hand corner, that's that character with the circuit, like top of his head, the robot. And so then on the cover, of course, that's Cable, and then Kane. I forget some of these other characters, but some of these characters I actually have a stake in. So I'm hoping that if they do a Cable movie, they'll use some of these characters, because a royalty check would be nice. So I think I think his name's Kane. Other than that character, I think these are all mine. I'm not 100% sure. It was a long time ago. So yeah, so this is, it was a wraparound cover. So I do believe it was 92. So then here's the cover without the back. Revealed secrets behind X-Force's mysterious leader, future destiny. Yeah, so then here's the wraparound cover. And so one of the things I did was I do have the original to this, the original line art that Marvel used, and I scanned it some time ago, and then I cleaned it up, like I digitally re-inked it, and cleaned it all up, and I liked it so much I asked a friend, Thomas Mason, if he'd color it, and he did, and I thought it came out so good. I made it into some prints. So I have these available on my website, artbytbear.com, and they look amazing. I think they came out really good. And so then here's the line art version that I cleaned up. So you can see with the, I don't know, like, modern contemporary coloring is so cool. It's pretty amazing, all the textures and everything. So you can see how they really brought it to the next level. And so then this I did, I think, as a commission. So this is a new version of Cable, a fresh shaved version with this big gun. Yeah, a lot of background detail. So I think I did this a few years ago. So a good little history with Cable. Cable was pretty decent. Second Deadpool movie. Yeah. It was funny because I think the actor is shorter than Deadpool. The guy that played Cable is shorter than the actor that played Deadpool, and but he still pulled it off, man. I thought it would be weird because I always thought of Cable as this massive person, but it did work. Let me see. Username unknown. That's a cool username. Cable One holds a special place in my heart. Oh, thanks, man. I got this in a care package when I was stuck in traction for 5 weeks with a broken femur when I was 9. Oh man, that's awesome. I probably read it 1,000 times. That's so cool, man. That is so cool. Yeah, I mean, comics are great escapism. Oh, I just pulled these two apart. I think this is the original layout to the double page. So this once again is just a Sharpie layout. Just putting it down. So I think this is page 2 and 3. Usually I put numbers on it, but I didn't on this one. And then this, oh, maybe, oh, wait, hold on. Maybe there's 2 versions of that page. Hold on. So here's page 1, rocks and waves. So you can see the ship designs weren't done yet, but it had a kind of an idea from Fabian's script. So let me see what it says. Grand Canyon. Okay. And so, yeah, it looks like there might be 2 versions of this. So there's this one, and then there's this one. Let me hold this better so you can see it. So I don't know who the bald chick in the front is. They're all bald. I didn't bother putting hair on them. That's a big gun. That's a big gun. Yeah, so I think Johnny Romita Jr.'s Cable just came out before this. I think it was a miniseries. That thing was awesome. So I was really influenced by those gun designs and stuff. So I don't know which page this is. It's probably page 4. So Cable shouting orders. So I think it's just some kind of war scenario from the future. So those guys flying around are just mowing down Cable and his crew. I like this shot here. And then I'm trying to get away. Canaanites. So the villains are called Canaanites, I guess. Canaanites on sled. So here's another page of layouts. Yeah, so these are the actual layouts. So these are marker on just sheets of paper. And I would draw, like if you see the dimension is in scale with the actual 11 by 17 page. So what I would do is I would take these and then I would Xerox them up. Let me see here. There's this, and then there's this. Everything's reversed, so it's hard. There we go. And then there's a glare, so it's hard to get. There we go. So yeah, Cable was just bombastic. I'd never drawn anything this crazy before. So I think his wife was a warrior, and so she dies in the story. So they call it, like, there's a character named Clan, Cable Gun, T-Blood, Boke. So I think that Boke is the robot. Jen is the name of his wife. Jen Urso. And then the last kiss. You know, I think let me see if I put something behind it, if it registers better. Yeah, it does actually, because I think you can see through the paper a little bit. So this one says page 7. So here's page 8. It's too late, Dayspring. It's too late. No. There's a little bit of dialogue in there. Cable walking. Cable's not happy. He's not going to take He's not going to take it for. He's not going to sign off on it. He's gonna rebel against it. No. Let me see. Let me see. Jen. Oh, maybe this is page 6. Oh, this is the page that sets it up. I went out of order. So that's her hand there. So that's him finding her. So apparently the rest of them had already found her, and they're trying to stop Cable from seeing her. And then he's like, no, he's got one little tear in the eye. So apparently this what's his name? Theather Blood. I think that's the big guy with the beard. He's trying to comfort Cable, and then Cable having nothing to do with it. So I wonder, I don't remember the story, but Strife took your son. End of program. Okay, so this was it was these guys right here. Maybe, I don't know, this goes from page 8 to 14. Oh, you can see a little quick thumbnail right here for the page. And so I think this is present time right here. So there's a little bit of design work here. So I drew the hologram in red marker. So I think this is that character Kane. So there's some shadows, some blacks I put in. So this is page 14. And so I think they're watching some kind of monitor screen or something, or some kind of hologram. And I think that all that beginning was maybe a hologram. And so then, wait a minute, that's page 14. These are all out of order. These are out of order. Let me see if I can put them in order real quick. Okay, so this page sets up. So this is page 9 here. So there's a big holographic display. Putting a disc in. Oh man, he's crying too. There's a lot of crying in this book. Big guys showing their emotions. So he's in a trench coat. He's hiding who he is. So then he goes out on the street. It's raining. We get to see the smut, what this future world is. It's not pretty. Bunch of cyberpunks. Wyndham right there, the big sign. My friend Kurt Wyndham. That's his name there. And so obviously channeling Blade Runner. So then I thought these pages came out pretty cool. So he's walking through the acid rain, and then gets jumped by some cyberpunks. And little do they know who they're messing with. Let me move my hand there. And so then we have a lot of white. Let me see. There's some pencil there, but you can't really see it. So then I guess this was the character, his hand flew off. And so his hand's flying off, and he's thonking that guy in the face. And then he pulls off his jacket, and you see he is charged. He is ready to go. He's going to kick their asses, kick their butts. Yeah, I don't really remember any of this stuff that much. Like the story, I do so much work, and it's been so long, 20-something years. So his hand's flying off again. I always thought like it was weird, like his hand flies off. How do you retrieve that? It's like a boomerang. Does it come back? So yeah, make this rowdy. I guess the gang's called Rowdies. About 3 to 5% bigger launches off other hands. So now he has no hands. He has stubs. Oh man, look at this. I must have been looking at some Sid Mead. There's no way I would be able to do this in a timely fashion, but I have a Xerox of Sid Mead's work. That's pretty cool. For inspiration, we all need inspiration. Oh, so here's some of the pages 11 by 17. So these are probably the pages or the Xeroxes that I blew up from those thumbnails that I showed you. So this is page 14. And so then what I would do is I would tape this to a board, artboard, and then I would light box them. And if you guys don't know what a light box is, I think I have one right here. So this is a light box. So the reason they call it a light box is because it does this. And so when you put a piece of paper under a blank piece of paper, you can see through it. And then you can basically, you can use your layout and draw from there. So you have all your under drawing, you have your layout, your positioning, and then you can draw and finish it off on the actual board itself. So this isn't a layout. This is probably a first run at page 1. So you can see it has the skiff drawing in there now. So I have the design and everything. So it says Bob. Let me see. What does this say? This is Bob Harris. Bob will finish pages in ink stages, no problem. Okay, so I guess this is what I was giving to Marvel for approval. So then I was telling Bob basically that I was going to finish it up in the inks. Sometimes we do that. There's that hunter, those hunter killers right there. It's pretty cool. So, oh, here, I guess I used this as the layout, the one with the big cable. So I showed you that layout earlier. So this isn't finished pencils, but I think this is what I must have been giving to Marvel for approval. So it's pretty cool. So these are like unfinished pencils for the double page. So I think this is still pages 2 and 3. So here is the other side. So these characters actually have hair and helmets and equipment. So yeah, I wish the monitor didn't kind of blow out everything with as far as the light, because this would be a lot better. Let me give you some highlights because I could go over everything, but it might take too long and it might be a little boring. But yeah, most of these are 11 by 17s. So these are the so this is pretty finished as far as the page. This character was probably on an overlay because in those days we if it was a color hold, we would do it on a separate sheet. So a piece of vellum, we would lay over this and then we would draw it and ink it on a separate sheet. So then when they put it together, they knew that it wasn't going to be black line. It was going to be like a red line or printed in a color. This is pre-digital. So if there was any kind of color holds or if the line was printed in a certain color or whatever, we had to indicate that in the inks. So there's the tier. He just saw all that stuff. And so this is the archive building. Look at the design work. Little banner. It's like a museum, I guess. So he's walking out of the building. So I like that page. Yeah, some of these are weird. They're like in and out of detail. So like that first panel there is finished. But then like the second panel where he's like it looks like rain, and then the shot where he's in the city with the Blade Runner-esque, and then the last panel looks like it's finished. So let me see. There's Wyndham, Little Buddy Burger. Yeah, you get to make up all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah, these are 11 by 17 Xeroxes. Oh, this is a pretty cool shot. Let me get the cool shots in there. Yeah. You can definitely tell the decade this stuff was drawn in. This is like so 90s. It definitely, there was a style for sure. Let me see. Here is the action shot of him laying that guy out. The Clan or whatever they were called. His hand launching off. So let me see if there's any other like really kind of behind the scenes stuff that would be fun to show off. Yeah, I got, this is like stacks of things that I have here. So I'm gonna catch up with you guys in the chat, making sure I'm not boring the crap out of you. You inspire us. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. How long were you on the book for? I think maybe 6 months, maybe less, actually. The future is smut. You got that right. The exquisite line art, sir. Thank you. Notice us. Notice us. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going back. I'm going back in time. Oh, Sketch says it was his wifey. I want that in the movie because that would be so cool to see some of those characters. That big gun describes the 90s. It was fun. It was a fun time. That's for damn sure. And the people seemed to really appreciate it, and the money was good. Never got into JR. You would have thought he'd be a better artist, learning from his father. I think it depends. It depends on what he's doing. There's been some JR stuff that I thought was absolutely amazing. He did a Daredevil run, I think, with Frank Miller that I liked. He did that Cable series that I liked. So he's done some stuff that I really thought was cool. But there is some work that I don't know if it's good or bad. It just doesn't seem to fit. It just doesn't seem to fit the characters. Why is Art to stay in this chat? So never. I worship you guys. Art's a boomer. He's a good guy who is still new to hosting his own live stream. Are you serious? Am I screwing up that bad? What did I do? Art, this was my first Cable book. Had to buy a new copy years later to replace my original. Wore it out reading it as a kid. That's awesome. That is so cool. I borrow ideas, only the good ones. When are you selling that Nightwing original art? Nightwing original art. If there's Nightwing art, I think it's on the site. I think it's on my site. I'm not sure. So I believe there's a link to my original artwork site. It's called artbytbear.com. And if I have it, it's probably up there. So I'm not sure if it was a different piece of artwork or not. Big royalty checks, yeah. Um, Great, now he's feeling insecure. It's the poster art. Yeah, well, if you're interested in it, send me an email and describe it, and I'll see if I can find it because I'm not remembering what I might have said. Sometimes artists are hit and miss. Yeah. I think like for Johnny Ramita Jr., there's some things that he's more suited for than others, and there's times I absolutely love his style on, and there's other not so much. A lot of the DC characters, I don't like his take on the DC characters very much. But it was weird when John Byrne came over to DC. I was like, because I'm so used to seeing John Byrne draw Marvel characters, I wasn't down with it at first. I was like, this is weird. But then as he kept doing work, I was like, John Byrne's a genius. Yeah. So here is, I'm not sure what Marvel used this for. So this is Cable in all his glory. And let me see, there's something. Oh, there's Wyndham back here too on the sign. So you can see it over here. Always dropping my friends' names. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. I don't think I have that original anymore. Ooh, let me see. Let's see if we can get some people in trouble. So these are old phone numbers, so I don't think they work anymore, so it doesn't matter. So here is an actual fax of page 1. Hold on. From Cable. So this is Rocks and Waves, issue 1 synopsis. So if you ever wanted to see a written comic book page, this is pretty much what they look like. So let me see. Does it have a date on it? Yeah, this is September 92, page 1. So next issue, Cable has returned. Can the clan chosen overthrow the rule of Apocalypse? Cable and Kane. Yes, that character's name is Kane. It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now. Yeah, so those guys are called the Canaanites. So I wonder if they follow this Kane guy. But Kane signs his, or has a K instead of a C. And those gang guys are the Rowdies. They are a neo-Nazi group, skinheads. That's why there's a lot of baldness in there. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I got original faxes from Fabian and Marvel. That's kind of cool. So yeah, Memory Lane, 1992. Okay, I actually have. This is cool. We were just talking about it. Let me see here. So I got from Marvel. So this is Johnny Ramita Jr.'s. I guess this isn't Cable. This is Bishop. So it's kind of cool. Here's so I don't know why this is in that box. I have stuff all over the place. So this, I think this was inked by I think that's why I have it. It was inked by Scott Williams. So I was probably over hanging out with with the Homage guys, with Jim Lee and Wills and Scott. So Scott might have been inking this at the time. So I asked if I could make some Xeroxes. That's what we did in the day. Like we'd go to other people's studios and we just like ransack their archives and make Xeroxes. So I have boxes and boxes full of stuff like this. But I thought this was really cool. So maybe no, he did. Johnny Ramita Jr. did a cable run too. I was going to say maybe I'm mistaking this for the cable run, but this is I think he did a Bishop story as well. So this one says cable. Okay, so that's an Uncanny X-Men story. The stuff I was showing you before. So the stuff with Bishop, that was Uncanny. This is his cable stuff. So I don't think this was inked by Scott Williams. I think I got this stuff from Marvel because these Xeroxes aren't as good. You can see they got like a white streak through them. So I'm not sure who inked the cable run. So that's just a bunch of weird stuff. And so here's the other side. Yeah, this came from Marvel because it's stapled. If it was stapled, it came from Marvel. So they sent me reference. So this is Johnny Ramita Jr.'s reference for that cable issue. It's pretty cool. It doesn't have the credits here, so I don't know who inked this stuff. But it's funny. It's all lettered. It's lettered on the board. You don't see stuff like this anymore. So all the word balloons are right there. I thought he did brutes pretty good, like big, like burly dudes. I think if there was anything that was a little bit more like poetic or had to be a little bit more, I guess, attractive, he wasn't that good at. But I liked his like just crazy, like huge like fighter types. I don't know if he ever did the Hulk, but I would imagine that JR would do a good Hulk. Man, there's more boomer jokes in here. What the hell? What am I doing wrong? So I do have some more stuff, but it's let me see over here. I have more. Yeah, they're more in form of more like like layouts and stuff like that, but nothing like that really stands out different. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed that. It was fun going down memory lane and showing you some of the layouts and different behind the scenes drawings for cable number 1. I do remember when I got the job, I was completely overwhelmed because I was coming off of the X-Men run with Jim Lee, and I worked with Wills prior, and then I did X-Men 12 and 13. I did the pencils and inks on, and then I do believe I was doing stuff for DC at the time as well. So there was a Nightwing miniseries that I was working on for DC, and that was about the same time as the cable stuff. So I wanted to do the Nightwing story because I got to write it as well. So my wife and I, Pamela, my wife, we were going to write and draw it. Well, we were going to write it together, and then I was going to draw it and ink it. And I was going to have studio help with it. I think Trevor Scott was going to help me ink the book or the series. And so we had the green light from DC and everything, and we were getting ready to do it. And the editor got fired, and then DC just wouldn't stand behind all the stuff that we had, agreed upon doing. And so then Harris was like, you got to make up your mind with this cable thing. Are you going to do it or not? So at that point, I took the cable job because that DC thing just looked like it was going to be a cluster F. So I had worked with Bob Harris before in Marvel in the X Office, and so I knew what to expect with that. So I went in that direction, and I also knew just from a business standpoint that cable was probably going to way outsell that Teen Titans, Nightwing. But I always liked the Teen Titans. It's weird. I like the Teen Titans more than X-Men actually. When I was young, when I got older, I thought there was some cool stuff that they did with the X-Men. But when I was younger, I was a Teen Titans guy. I really liked the Marv Wolfman, George Perez Titans. I thought that stuff was incredible. I thought it was great. Oh, okay. Yeah, it might have been Dan Green inking the cable run. Thank you so much, Art9. I appreciate it. Yeah, Dan Green was a really good talent. That guy is a pain in the ass to hang out with. He is a bitter, angry dude. But I thought he was really good. I got to hang out with him a little bit at a New York show some years ago, and got to meet his daughter. His daughter was really sweet, and I just thought it was funny because when the show's over, you're kind of like, what are you guys doing tonight? Well, I got a couple drawings, or you want to pick up some dinner or something like that, have a few drinks. And so the guys that I was hanging out with at the table, we were talking like that. And then Dan Green kind of came into it and was like, yeah, I'll go with you. And so the weird thing is all the other plans didn't come through. So I ended up just hanging out with Dan Green. If you're listening, I love you, brother, but man, you were a pain in the ass that night. And so, he's a New Yorker, so he had all his artwork. So he didn't leave it at the table. He was paranoid, like people were going to steal it or whatever. And I just have a little carrier for my originals. Like I leave my books and stuff like that on the table, but original artwork I take. But it's just a little, portfolio. And so he had boxes of books and all kinds of stuff. So I went there with a friend. So there were three of us, and we were going to go to Frankie and Johnny's Steakhouse in New York. And so Dan's like, hey man, can you guys help me carry my stuff to my car? I go, why don't you just leave it? He goes, I don't trust anybody. I want to bring it to my car. So I was like, I guess. So I had like one little portfolio or whatever. And so then we're walking, and it's not close to like he parked a mile away. So we're walking in a completely different direction. I asked him, could we get a cab? He goes, I don't want to pay for a cab. So I was thinking it was close. It ends up being, like a mile away. And then as we're walking, he's like, this is really heavy. He's handing my friend more stuff to carry for him. We were already carrying stuff for him. And then he goes to hand me stuff, more, things to carry. And I already have my portfolio. And I just told him, I go, man, you're on your own. I wanted to just leave the stuff back there. And so he's like, fine. He's getting all mad at me. He's like just getting grumpy. He's like, this is so heavy. And it's like, it's taking forever. And I'm like, well, this was your idea. And so then I'm like, we're not walking to that restaurant. I go, I'll pay for the cab if you don't want to. I don't care. So I paid for the cab. We went there, and all he did is complain about the prices. And he just bitched about like his career in comics. And I was like, man, this is bad. This is bad. I know like a lot of comic book artists feel used and abused, and most of us have been at some point. But man, he went into some crazy detail, and it never got good. It was just beat down after beat down stories. So I was like, man, this sucks. The food was great though. The food was really, really good. And as soon as we ditched Dan, my friend and I had a good time. I shouldn't say that. It was fun. He's interesting, but man, that dude's a grump. He's a grump and a half. And all I could think about is I remember having a conversation with Mark Silvestri, and I think it was when he was working on Wolverine, and Mark wanted me to ink him on Wolverine, and he's just like, I wish you had time. I wish you had time. I want you on Wolverine. He goes, I cannot stand Dan Green's inks on me. And then I was like, oh man, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And and I was like, I don't know, man. I think it's really good. I told him, I go, I think it's really good. I like Dan Green's inks. And he's like, no, no, no. Because I think what Mark really wanted to do is he wanted to compete more with what became like the West Coast thing. So he wanted more of like what we were doing, like what Jim Lee, Will Spertasio, Scott Williams, and myself were doing. So he wanted the inks. Like in the day, it was like inks were valued because pencilers knew that they could actually bring a certain look to the work. And so if you're working in a certain style, the hopes were that you could bring that style into their work. So I think Mark really wanted something that looked a little bit more slick and contemporary. And so Dan's stuff was it was brush. He mostly uses brush. So it kind of had more of an old school featherly look. Like feather is like when it's like a brush. So it's like, I don't know how to really describe it. It's like hatching, but it's really thick and then thin, and they almost look like feathers. When you see the lines together, it's like feathered out, and it's usually like from a black, like a mid-tone, or the hatching or the feather, and then the white. So it kind of helps transition from a black to a white. But like there's different ways of doing it, and like what we were doing, with Jim and Wills and Scott, is we were kind of doing the traditional idea, but doing it in a completely different way. So it still had like that type of feathering idea, but not done the same way. And so I think that Mark Silvestri wanted to be, more contemporary. And it never happened. I think he got Hilary Barta inking him as well. And I'm not sure, but he might have liked Hilary Barta more, but I don't think he liked either one of those guys. And one of the things I was supposed to do when I went over to Image is I was going to ink Cyberforce, Mark Silvestri's book. And that didn't happen. Just too much stuff going on at the time. And I think I would have done it though, because I was always just working on multiple projects at one time. I think what happened is we just fell out of communication. Like I think I was expecting him to follow up on it, and he never did. And I do think that he was a little upset, because I remember like conventions, around that time, he wouldn't even make eye contact with me. Mark wouldn't. And so years later, everything was fine. But I think ultimately, when he got, was it Bat, on inking him, oh my gosh, I don't think he could have done any better. So it took a while for him to get the inks that he wanted, but when he did, it looked amazing. So Art9 says, you're welcome. Love your inks when you were inking Carlos Pacheco. It just wouldn't be the same artwork without your ink at the time. I'm always happy when I flip through them. Yeah, I found these as well. I used to put these little books together. So this is Carlos Pacheco work. So after I would do a page, I would put these books together. So I would have black and whites of all my work. So this is X-Men 71. So speaking of Carlos Pacheco, I give you Carlos Pacheco. Yeah, it was one of the last ink jobs I put my heart and soul into. Um, because it's really hard sometimes on a monthly schedule, and if the artist doesn't really dig what you're doing, or there's friction, or just not like the respect that you feel like you should be getting, um, it gets hard. It gets hard to work on the book. And I like Carlos, and I get along with him even today. Like we hang out every once in a while, and he likes me. And he liked the inks. He goes, like, when you throw a line down, he said, it moves. Like, everything has this energy to it. He said, I've never seen it before, but everything has personality. Everything has energy. He said, but I'm just not looking for that. And so I do remember when I was inking him, he was kind of Alan Davis looking. And you talk about feather inking, like old school kind of brush, like really traditional looking stuff. That's what he wanted. But I didn't know that at the time, but I knew just by looking at the pencils that it was more of a traditional way of approaching it. And to me, I was just like, this isn't X-Men, and X-Men's a little bit more edgy, and X-Men's a little bit more like style and cutting edge. And so I just made up the style over him. Like, I'd never seen anybody ink like this before. No one's inked him before like this or after. And so I thought it was really original, and I thought it fit the X-Men tone of the time. And but he just wasn't digging it. He wasn't digging it. He wanted that look. And we did a lot of work together. I mean, we worked with each other for maybe 2 years. And then he got a different inker, and I thought that stuff looked good too. I can't remember who was inking him after that. I think a fellow Spaniard, because Carlos is Spanish. And I get those pages back. They smell like nicotine. They smell like cigarettes. All those Spanish guys, they smoke like chimneys. And so I just thought, like, I just need to go outside the box with the look. I can't ink this in a traditional way. And I thought it looked good. I had a lot of people, like even Rob Liefeld was saying, like, this stuff is phenomenal. He said, don't let it discourage you. Keep going with it. He said, this is really amazing stuff. So I stand by it. I know that I was swimming upstream. Like, it was a hard job to do, because also, like, I was kind of reinventing the line. So it was kind of like not redrawing, but it felt like it. So complete reinterpretation at the very least of the pencil line. And so, we'd have talks, and he goes, it's really, really good, but it's just not what I'm looking for. And I remember having a conversation with Aaron Lepresti the same way. And Aaron was like, it's just not what I'm looking for. Otherwise, I think Aaron and I would have done a lot more work together. And then when we start divvying up the pages, when he got art returns, Aaron was like, this stuff's really good. He goes, what's wrong with me? I go, I don't know. He goes, he said it might have had something to do with the printing and the reproduction of it. He goes, but these originals are gorgeous. So, for what it's worth, I just think that there sometimes pencilers have a certain look that they're going for, and it doesn't matter if it's good or if it's even better. It's just not what they're looking for. So I completely understand it. And as long as people, are cool with me about it, I'm usually fine. Sometimes you get fired and you don't even know why or how or anything, and the editor just fires you. So you're like, why? I was making the schedule, and thought I was doing a good job. And then they don't tell you, and then you find out that the inker or the penciler just didn't like your work. It's always a little tough to hear from it that way, or hear about it that way. Hey, Zed Comics, what's up? What's up? We got Comicsgate's own, the Brothers Zade. It's like the Brothers Grimm Art has a special gift for turning the most incidental into Gone with the Wind. You're damn right, I do. It's what I do. You got to make these stories epic. It's a tall tale. Um, Old school comics dies with me, you guys. I'm the only one that gets to tell the tale. Oh, I see a bunch of pizza talk. What? I love pizza. Oh, Pizza Medi. Ah, hey, we got Bob, comic book Bob. Hola. Hola, Bob. I missed you last week on Pontificators. It wasn't the same. I didn't know when to end the show. I only know when to end the show when Bob tells me. Otherwise, we could go on forever. And usually Chester will go off on something that no one cares about. And then Todd will give him a bunch of shit about it, which I like. Hey, Pete, how are you, my friend? Pete says, pizza night tonight. Traveling an hour to get some great an hour. Holy shit. That must really be good pizza. All right. I love pizza. There's a place now around the corner. It's my wife and I's pizza place. It's called Crust. I think it's a chain. I don't think they have them in California. I'm not sure. But it's a nice little restaurant, and it's close, and there's outdoor dining. The indoor is nice too. And in Texas, you can eat inside. California, almost everything was shut down. So, but we just like it outside because there's trees and there's the woods and everything, so we have a cool view. So dig it. We don't have good pizza in Cleveland, but Cleveland rocks, Bob. They're only one decent place, and they won't do Chicago style deep dish. I live for that shit. New York City, even like those crappy little uh, pizza places on the corner and stuff like that, pizza's always good. Like even like cheap New York pizza is good. Uh, 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 uh. Oh, I guess Joe is a cigarette smoker too. Yeah, when you get those pages, because we used to get them like the FedEx boxes, as soon as you rip open that seal, waft, man, you get smacked with that nicotine smell. Yeah, because I worked with Carlos Pacheco, I worked with Salvador LaRocca and Pascual Ferry, and they're all like Spaniards. They all know each other. It's pretty cool. And at one time, between me and Jaime Mendoza at Hack Shack Studios, we eat all three of those guys every month. So the Spaniards loved us because I worked with Salvador on some X-Men books, and we did the Fantastic Four with Chris Claremont for over a year. I still can't believe I did. I have a history with the Fantastic Four, so I did the Walter Simonson stuff. So I helped Walter on his pencil writing run, and then I did the 3 issues with Walter and Art Adams, and then I did, it was at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years, with Salvador LaRocca and Chris Claremont. That was good stuff. No, you're not a loser. Your stuff's pretty good, my friend. Yeah, I'm kind of not trying to forget my past, but I want to go in a different direction. So I don't do too much inking anymore. Let's see what sketch therapy says. Do slow pencilers, I don't know what that word is, about fast inkers. Um, I think it helps if you're a fast inker and you're working on a slow penciler. Um, 'Cause then maybe you can make the schedule. But if a penciler is going to take the time, take your deadline time, there's really nothing you can do about it. Oh, yeah. I hope your dad's doing better, my friend. Yeah, you told us that. I hope he's doing better. That's horrible. Okay, man, the chat's going crazy. Going crazy. My best friend was a chain smoker. Damn, did everything she touched smelled. Yeah, we when my parents passed away, and we had to, clean out the house and everything. My mom was a smoker, and there's like nicotine like around like the edge of the walls and the ceiling. It's pretty amazing. Like if it'll stain the walls of your house, I don't know what the hell that would do to your lungs. Um, give you cancer? I don't know. Sketch therapy. I've already done 3 CG books and didn't peep a word until they were out. I don't know what. I guess there's some chat going on in the chat, so I'm not going to get into that. Oh, these are the books. So Brand, Gunship, Thunder Punch, and Doom Kickers. Technically, they were all CG when I signed up to be their editors. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they're still considered CG books. My question would be: is Doom Kickers, is that going to come out? I hope so. The stuff I saw looked pretty amazing, so I hope it comes out. Oh yeah, yeah. I figured it out. That's cool. Yeah, got it. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. It's about noontime here. Get some lunch with my funny little honey and get back to work. So I am working on black and white right now. I got a bunch of, these are my black and white sketches. These are real like quick thumbnails. So this is me kind of blocking out story. So I've been doing this. This is actually page 33, so it's coming along. This is 34, 35, but there's not much done on there. So yeah, definitely moving along on black and white. I have the promo stuff done. I have the cover done. I have a cool variant cover done. So it is moving. It is moving forward with the move here. It took a little derail, misdirection, but I'm getting back on track slowly, and I'm hoping to have that campaign up and running very soon. I always want to say a date or a month or something, but I'm kind of going to play it by ear until I get a good chunk of stuff done where I have confidence that I can run the campaign and that I have the story. I'm still looking for the story. So I'm about 2/3 of the way done with it even laid out. So there's rough layouts, about 2/3 of it. So the final act I'm working on right now. And so there's some announcements I want to make, but I want to get closer to the release date of the campaign. So the Indiegogo campaign for Black and White Volume 2. So let me see. From what Elliot recently said, he's ramping back up on them. Cool. Yeah, I mean, the book looked great. Is it 100 pages or something? It was like a lot of pages. That's crazy. And I'm not sure. I know that Elliot had done some storytelling before, but I don't think he has a lot of experience. So 100 pages is pretty daunting. Let's see. My Joe says, can't wait for Black and White 2. What's after that? More Chrono. Yeah, I'm talking to a writer, and I have some ideas for Chrono 2, and I'm hoping that I can pitch the ideas to him and then he can start blocking out the story. And then we can get going on drawing it after that. So I'm trying to slowly overlap things to where I have multiple projects happening at the same time. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Just know I'm not going anywhere, you guys. CG's my home. As long as you guys will have me, I will continue to create for you guys, and that's the goal. I don't really have anything else planned, so this is my home for as long as you'll have me. So let's see what. Wait, Johnny Rando, Reed and Whitney will triumph again. Can't wait. They're going to go through hell, my friend. They are going to go through hell and back again. This volume 2 is not gonna. It's not going to treat them very well. Like Kick One, are you going to develop more characters? I do have a lot of ideas going, but I'm not sure that the marketplace is ready for it yet. So I kind of want to stick with some IPs that were successful. So I want to do another black and white, but I don't want to do it as a 2-part or 3-part. I want to do it as a one and done. So I have an idea for that. I'm going to revisit an old story that Pamela and I told for the ongoing that never happened. So if you guys haven't been paying attention or haven't been hanging out for every live stream, I did in '95 or something like that. Pamela and I did an ongoing black and white for Image Comics, and we got the first issue out, but we didn't get much further because the industry was kind of crumbling. Books weren't selling what they were before, and it was just a big mess. So that's when I went back to Marvel after that. So I left Image and went to Marvel. But there were 3 issues that we had done. So one of them came out, but we had 2 others. And so it was kind of a part 2 to part the first miniseries. So the first miniseries was 3 issues, and it focused on Whitney Sung. So that was kind of that. So there was a little bit of mention about, Reed Blackett, aka Black's backstory, but it didn't go into much detail. So the ongoing series was going to be kind of part 2. It was going to be Reed's origin. So you get to see kind of what happened and what motivated him to do what he's doing. And so I still want to go back to that. And there was a character named Juju, and she was a Valdoon priestess, and she was like a technomancer. So one of the things about black and white is it's a future tense story. So it's in the not too far flung future. So robots and things like that are fairly commonplace. But one of the things I wanted to do, just like with the Marvel universe or the DC universe, is there's high tech stuff, but there's also magic, and there's aliens. Not that I'm going to get into aliens with black and white. I never even thought that until just now. But I do like magic or magic type of things, but where they're very grounded or rooted. Like in Black and White Volume 1, spoiler, there's these rocks, this ore, and they have magical properties. So, I think there are rocks, there's magnets, there's different things that naturally exist that can produce strong steel or like metals or different things. And so, it's kind of magic, I guess. So these ores actually produce this energy, is synthesized properly. And so that's kind of my take on magic. So, what Chang or JC does in Black and White in Volume 1 is he synthesizes kind of magic with tech. And I love those ideas. I always have. So, one of the things is we're going to continue with that in the next installment of Black and White. So it is going to be focused more on Reed Blackett and his backstory and what happened to his father, things like that. And then we're going to get into more of like the magic science aspect to their world. So I just dig that stuff. So that's what we're going to probably follow. Well, we will follow Black and White Volume 2 with. And then as far as Chrono, I have like a 7 wonders idea. And so like the 7 wonders of the world actually disappear from the face of the earth. And so the Chrono Mechanics characters have to rebuild the seven wonders. And what they're going to find out in the course of the story, that there's actually an eighth wonder. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. So I have that brewing in the back of my mind as well. So there's some cool stuff coming down the line. Also, the Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too, Volume 2. I'm going to be putting that out soon too. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming out 2021. So keep an eye out for it. And but as far as new IPs, I think I'm going to stick with Black and White and Chrono for a while. Like I said, I have other ideas, and maybe if I could partner with some people, I could do it. But just being, just me and my wife putting stuff together right now, it's a little hard to juggle too many different ideas. So Mighty Joe says, would love to see Black and White cameo in Chrono. Maybe just a quick time mind panel. I don't know. It would be interesting to see, like, to draw them in in the black and white style in the Chrono book. That could be fun. Yeah. Yeah, we could possibly do something like that. So you're the whole reason CG exists. We want comics that speak to us, not artists who speak at us. Yeah, I've never been like that. I've always been a behind the scenes player. I was never really a guy that spoke much about anything anyway. I just kind of was that guy that put his head down and did his job. That sounds a little weird, but at the drawing board, you kind of, the joke is you put your head down and you just kind of keep focused on your work. And every time you look up, you lose money. So you keep your eyes on the page. And then the other thing is you always keep your hand moving. So no matter what, if your hand isn't moving, you're not getting paid. So you always that's the thing you try to focus on. Like, stay on the page and always keep your hand moving. And one of my favorite Jack Kirby lines was somebody asked him, it's like, you don't seem to erase a lot. And he goes, I don't get paid to erase, I get paid to draw. And if you're an artist like me, you erase probably more than you actually, well, it's probably a 50-50. Try a line, erase a line, try a line, erase a line. So that's kind of my way of doing stuff. So Mighty Joe says, or maybe black and white variant cover in the Chrono style. Ooh, Mighty Joe's on fire. All right. Okay. Well, I think I am, and I mean it this time, I am going to, oh man, you had to go there. Yeah, the Eighth Wonder, Andre the Giant. Maybe I could actually put a little cameo. That would be a cool cameo. Hey, DeWolf, Todd, I miss you on Pontificate. It's great stuff, Art. Do it all. Eventually I will for sure. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for letting me show some of this old cable artwork off. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm going to try to get more of these shows up and running, try to get some kind of schedule going. I do have, I don't know if I can announce it or if I should. I'm going to be doing a show with a couple other old veterans in comic books. And so, yeah, I'm just going to say it. If it happens, it happens. It's tentatively dated, or the date is this Thursday in the evening time. So we did a show, I think it was on Graham Nolan's YouTube last week. And so we all liked it so much and had so much fun, and the people in chat seemed to really enjoy it, that we're going to try to do it again on a weekly basis. And so it's going to be Billy Tucci, Graham Nolan, Aaron Lopresti, Andy Smith, and Dan Frega. So, and then of course me. And so we're just going to kind of BS like stuff like I did here. We might have we might have a topic, we might not. Most likely it'll be like a Q&A where you guys can ask us questions, and then we'll just kind of reminisce about different things in the industry and just kind of have fun hanging out. I'm sure there'll be some alcohol involved, so it's going to be a good time. And like I said, tentatively it's Thursday, and I'm not 100% sure, but it might be on uh, my channel. So the first episode will be on my channel, and then we're gonna do like the Jack show where, then Graham will host one, then Billy Tucci will host one, and so forth. So then we'll just kind of keep trading off, weeks that way. So each one of us can host one of the shows. Maybe even each one of us then would come up with the subject of what we're going to talk about. I kind of like the idea of just not freaking having any agenda, just going and just winging it. That's my favorite stuff. What? Chrono Mechanics versus Black and White. That'd be a funny fight. To be honest, with time travel, I think the Chrono Mechanics would win. When you have time on your side, literally you have time on your side, I think you'd be a formidable foe. That is for sure. So is this a potential name for the show? The Retirement Lunch Bunch. We could. Who's hosting? I think it's going to be me for the first show. So for the first show, it'll be me, and I believe we're talking about this Thursday, and it'll probably be 8 Eastern time. So I think that's kind of the tentative date. So we'll see how it comes together, and I'm sure all of us will be promoting once we get more of an idea exactly what we're going to do. So everybody's so busy, it's hard to kind of pin anybody down. And I'm sure that, sometimes, some weeks, all of us won't be, there. So the good thing is we have enough people that we can kind of keep it going. And I would like to invite other people, like have Ethan come on, Ethan Danskiver, and different, Comicsgate veterans, coming in and hanging out. I think it would be a blast. Just because I think we've all kind of crossed over in our careers at different points. So I think it'll also be fun to see how everything intersects in different decades and different books and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. Sketch says, sounds like a lot of fun. Great idea. Love it. Let's see what the Wolf says. Sounds like a great stroll down the good old days of comics. Yeah, the good old days of comics. When we were talking on Graham's show, it was amazing how much the industry has changed, because all of us still did work up to a couple years ago at DC. So it's not like we don't know how DC's run today versus how DC was run 40 years ago. I think Graham has got about the same amount of time logged in as I do. I think I have a little bit longer, maybe just a couple years, but not long. Ooh, the TNT show. I like that. If it was just the three of us, it could be the TNT show with Dan Frega, or with, Aaron Lepresti, or Andy Smith. Shout out for the Woodlands. Oh, also, yeah, a shout out for the Woodlands. Where is it? Let me find this card. We were out. My wife and I were grocery shopping. No, we were furniture shopping, and there was this shop. It's called Space Cadets. This is a shout out for Space Cadets, and I was like, I think that's a comic book shop, but nothing's open in California. So I was like, it can't be. It's open. And so I just went in there, and man, it was a great shop. Great shop. It was kind of a hybrid between like old school comic shops, I remember when I was a kid, and contemporary comic shops. So it was this nice blend where they had like old toys and collectibles, and then I think they even had some old novels in there, and then they had comics, like old comics, and they were in bins in the back, and then they had all the new stuff in the front, and a bunch of collectibles, toys, and things like that. And the people there were awesome. The lady behind the counter was so much fun, very friendly. And I ended up making friends with just people that were shopping there. And also, unlike California shops, there were people in there. There were people buying comics. It was great. And they were like into it. So I think I think her name's Jen, and she runs the show. She also has a YouTube show that she does with Nick Barucci on YouTube. And so I think she asked about a retailer tier for Chrono Mechanics. So I think she's got something planned. So I think she's going to get some books, and then we're going to do a book signing at Space Cadets at some point. So if you do live in the Woodlands area in Texas, keep an ear out. So if you go to that shop, I'm sure they'll keep you up on it. Or if you're a regular on this show, then I'll do the same, and then we'll have a blast. We'll have a blast. Oni64 says the Boomer Hour, Art, Adam, Ethan, whoever is gray. That was mean. That was absolutely mean and not designed to make me feel good. Oh man, you guys aren't going to let me go. I can sort of imagine a black and white art style in Chrono Mechanics that they would like under a less cartoony style. I love their original style, mind you, but I wonder what. Yeah, I mean, it could be fun. It could be fun. I bet it was totally horrible at DC. It wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't the old days. The enthusiasm and just the fun. Yeah, welcome to the free world. I'll tell you, everything tastes better here eating. And then somebody in one of the chats said the reason the food tastes better is because it's the taste of freedom. We went to a place yesterday called the Black Walnut, and I don't know if it's a high-end steakhouse or whatever, but we went in there for lunch, and they had like steak burgers. They were like really good cuts of meat, just absolutely delicious. Yeah, I've never like California, the taste is gone. I think everybody's so worried about everything being healthy. And you know what? Since I've been out to Texas, there's not like a bunch of overweight people either. I mean, everybody here looks like they're in shape, but they just eat like flavorful food. Just good. Even like the takeout stuff. Like we went to Sonic's, and even Sonic's just like fast food burgers, delicious. Better than most of the stuff in California. Wait, where do they have like lamb and deer burgers at? I heard like deer is really gamey. I don't know about lamb. I'll try anything once if it sounds good. Although there's like certain things that just don't sound good, like squid or like sea urchin or crap like that. Usually stuff that comes from the ocean, I don't want to eat. Or like, you know, salmon eggs, or what is it? What the hell is that? What do they call that? Like caviar. I think I've had that before. It's not that good. Oh wait. Try What a Burger. There's one off the 45 over here, so we're eventually going to get around to it. So one thing I have noticed is once we moved out here from California, we filled up the tank once at Costco, and we've been here a month, and we're not even half a tank of gas yet. So everything is pretty damn close. Like this Woodlands area is just laid out so amazing. Once you kind of figure out how the roads work, and how the best way to get to places is, man, it's easy. It is so easy. And we're still figuring that stuff out. Um, but it's not taking any gas at all. And we're loving no traffic. We haven't gotten any kind of traffic since we've been here. I know there's traffic in Houston and other areas, but we haven't gotten any. There are like the 45, there's like some business areas. Um, and we did get caught in, but it wasn't crazy traffic at all. I mean, it was still moving. It wasn't like bumper to bumper or anything. There were just more cars. It would just, that would be considered a light day in California. But that was their traffic here. Oh, Rob Hunter, my buddy, my inker buddy from another mother. That doesn't work. My inker brother from another mother. How about that? LOL, Pacheco art style after art. Bland. Pacheco never looked better. Thank you. Thank you, brother. And I'll tell you, everything Rob inks, you elevate things, man. You elevate so much energy, man. I would have dug you inking cable in the day. Holy shit, that would have looked badass. Instead, I had to ink it myself. Squid is great. Squid is not great. Shut your mouth, Michael. Squid is chewy. I've had tentacles before, so you're not going to trick me there. Deer makes good sausage. Maybe. I'm just afraid, like, gamey sounds chewy to me. I don't like chewy meat. I don't like my meat chewy. All right. Whataburger is good, better than In-N-Out. So I've heard. I have had Whataburger before. I've been to Texas a few times in the past. And, God, comic book people are the best, man. You guys are awesome. I was sitting at the table with my daughter, and we must have looked hungry and tired. And somebody goes, there's a Whataburger across the street. Let me pick you up something on me. They went and got us burgers and fries and shakes and all kinds of stuff. And man, it was good. It was kind of cold, so I couldn't judge it 100%. But they were really good. So I know Texas really loves their Whataburger. So I have to check that out. Caviar is fish eggs, right? Yeah. No. We actually had a party. My wife just loves to go all out, and we actually had caviar at one of our parties. It's weird, like it's caviar and you put it on crackers. Like crackers just seem so lowbrow, and caviar seems so highbrow. I don't know. Everybody says, yeah, sheet, I need to leave California. I don't know. I'm telling you, Joseph, I haven't thought about California in any kind of reminisce. Like I haven't like, oh, I miss California or anything like that. I mean, I might be singing a different tune once the humidity hits, in the summertime. But at this point, I don't miss it at all. I look out the window, I see forest. We walk around, I see forest. We drive around, I just see trees. I see beautiful stuff. Like I said, there's lakes around here. I'm gonna take some pictures. I'm gonna show you guys. But there's I guess they call it a pond. To me, it's a lake. There's a waterfall and everything. It's just right around the corner here. There's parks all around. Like I didn't even know half the parks. There's like one right on the corner here. I didn't even know it existed because in the woodlands, everything is kind of hidden from view. So it's behind like trees and stuff. So even the park, so you can't really see anything from the highway, which is nice because when you're driving, it's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. So I'm digging it. I'm digging the rain because it's been raining quite a bit here. So I'm loving it. Whataburger has Dr. Pepper shakes that are really good. And I think Dr. Pepper is a Texas-based company as well, I think. So that stands to reason. I'll try those. I didn't have one when I was here before. But I do like finally getting snow in Reno. I've been in Reno when it snows. It's pretty. So let's see what Leg Kick says. What is the name of your place you moved to in Texas? It's just called the Woodlands. It's they call them villages. So I think there's 9 villages, there's 9 communities, and it's a planned community. So nothing's bullshit. Like when you live in California, everything's afterthought. It's like, oh, we'll just put this here, we'll put that there, and everything is all just mishmash, and the roads sometimes don't even make sense. Everything here is all planned. So there's an overall scheme to everything. And so if you don't even want to drive everywhere, there's pathways. You could walk or ride your bike to all of the villages and all the shopping areas. So each village has like its own infrastructure. So they have their own, like supermarkets. They have the HEBs. They have their own liquor stores. They have their own like food, like restaurants, fast food restaurants. I don't know, like Home Depots, like hardware stores, stuff like that. Just very, very evolved. I always tell Pamela, like, this place is evolved. Like it's funny because like when you draw and when you create, it's like, you think of like, you look at people and their stuff is smart. It's laid out smart. It's evolved. Like there's certain artists that you could just tell, like it's all planned out. It's all thought out. Like Adam Kubert for me is like one of those, like everything, all his layouts and stuff are really, really thought out. And I just like that stuff. I like design. I like things that make sense. And everything about this place does that. And I'm digging it, and my wife's loving it as well. The only thing we miss is our kid, because our kid stayed in California, so we miss her. And that's probably the only thing that's not cool right now. Hurricane season is from June to November. Art, July is hell. Drink plenty of water if you do yard work. Yeah, I already did in California. I mean, California in the summertime gets really, really hot. I heard that the temperatures, even in the hottest months here in Texas, it doesn't get as hot as California, but it's the humidity. So the humidity is what makes it really tough. So so that's the thing that we're gonna have to figure out. But I mean, the summers in California can be unbearable, So I'm not really thinking it's going to be that much worse. And I've been in Florida in the summertime, several different times throughout my life, and I know what it can be like. It's not nice. I do understand that. As far as hurricanes and things like that, I guess it can hit this area, but we did research, and as far as flood zones and hurricanes, things like that, we're not really in the path of any of those things, because I guess they can kind of predict and hurricanes and flood zones, floodplains, they're always kind of the same. So this doesn't have any of that. So Rob Hunter says, huge compliment. Thanks, Art. I was at the Kubert School when cable came out, I think. Oh, cool. Yeah, so watch out for the Stepfords. Yeah, that's why I never wanted to live in a planned community. Like when we were in California, there were places which had those HOAs and stuff like that. They're gated communities, and we looked at some houses in those areas. And I was kind of like, at that time, this is 30 years ago, I was like, Stepford, I want to be individual. I want to, be able to express myself in my neighborhood and all that other stuff. I don't want these HOAs and people telling me stuff. But then as we lived in the area where we moved in California, it was all brand new. So the housing development was new. It was called Greystone. And so all the houses were themed. They had black roofs. They were kind of Mediterranean style. And so then there were people that were started later on painting their houses instead of gray and black, and browns and tones is what the houses and the whole community was. They started painting their houses yellow and pink and green and all kinds of crazy colors. And they were just doing stuff to their houses that was, it was actually just bringing down the value of the neighborhood, if you ask me. And so then I would think to myself, man, I wish I had an HOA now, because I could like just go to them and just like, did you know there's a pink house now in the neighborhood? So I'm actually kind of digging the HOA idea. Here there's an HOA, but you don't pay into it. So there's a woodlands community, I guess. So certain things you have to get okayed, and I guess they do check the area to make sure. But for the most part, everybody seems like they're like-minded. Everybody loves it here, so they don't want to change it. In California, it's like, I want to express myself. I want to be different. So you got a greenhouse or a red. No, there was an orange house on our corner with green trim, a stucco Mediterranean style house. What the hell, man? It's crazy. We got Danger Vanessa in the chat. And when doing yard work, make sure your pants don't tear, and or make sure your wife is gone. Excellent advice. Yeah, if you guys don't know, I did a little yard work and my pants were ripped, and my wife chose to take a picture. I must say, she took the picture, but I posted it. So I am guilty as charged. All right, man. Well, I know I said I was going to end it, and I mean it this time. This time I mean it for sure. So you guys need to stop in the chat, because I'll just keep reading and I'll keep hanging out because I'm having a good time. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and we will see you later this week. So at least 2 more shows planned. So stay tuned, and we will continue this crazy comic book conversation. We'll keep going. So very good, you guys. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.